was a pretty good dang month. I hit 3,000 subscribers, I had my birthday, my new nephew was born, we launched our new YouTube channel at work, and to top it all off, I read some pretty good dang books in the month of April as well. Alright, Saga Volume 2. I really liked the first volume. The story was compelling and the art was just gorgeous, but I gotta say I fell in love with this second one. The story was even better, and plus, they introduced a Gwendolyn. There is a Gwendolyn in this story. Can I repeat that? There is a Gwendolyn. That is all. I co-read Americana with my lovely co-worker Donnelly. Donnelly has her own vlog channel, which I will link to in the notes below if you would like to check it out. Anyway, so we co-read this. It's about a Nigerian immigrant to the US, how she got there, and then the story of how she returns to Nigeria. It's also the story of her high school boyfriend and how they drift apart and then encounter each other again in Nigeria when she returns. I would classify this as literary fiction. Donnelly and I were kind of flipped on this one. She really liked the first half and then was on the last half. I, on the other hand, liked the first half well enough, but didn't truly appreciate it till the second half, when I could see what she'd been trying to build up to, why that background was important, and how it all culminated. By the last page, I was sold on the whole thing. For my in-real-life book club, The Hollywood Booklets, we read Howl's Moving Castle. This is a YA fantasy novel from the 80s. It's about the oldest of three girls who lives in a land of fairy tales. And, as it's always the youngest of three that's successful in fairy tales, Sophie figures she's destined to not be very successful. Through a variety of circumstances, Sophie ends up cursed to look like a very old woman, and also ends up as the cleaning woman for the terrible wizard Howl, who supposedly eats the hearts of beautiful young women, and he lives in a castle that, well, is constantly moving. I gotta say I wasn't impressed at first. It felt a bit flat like a lot of the fairy tale retellings of the era, but as soon as she arrived at the moving castle, the whole thing became really dang cute and engaging, and it continued that way till the end. I know this was made into a fairly famous movie at one point, so I'm gonna have to track that down and watch it. This was a really, really good book. I loved it. So I continued on with the Pern books by Anne McCaffrey. I had really liked the first two books in this series, and I'd heard good things about White Dragon, and while I thought that Ruth, the White Dragon, is a great character in this one, the rest of the story was kind of lackluster. And I have to agree with a lot of the Goodreads reviews on this one. That said, the main character Jackson can get kind of downright annoying in this one. I think it'll be quite a while until I pick up another Pern book, sadly. Okay. So I found a Tintin book at my local comic shop. I used to read Tintin all the time when I was a kid. These are Belgian comics from the mid-20th century about the adventures of a boy reporter and his blustering friend who is a sea captain. Oh, and Snowy, Tintin's little white dog. I gotta say, reading these now that I'm older, they're not as good as I remember them. Besides, now it's glaringly obvious to me how racist the drawings of black people are in these. I know it was 75 years ago, but come on. I also finished my reread of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. True confession time. This was my least favorite of the Harry Potter books when I first read these books. It's just unsettling at parts. It doesn't always make you feel comfortable. Some truly disturbing things happen in this book, and on a first read-through, it's just a slightly different feel than the first book. You get used to the dark as the books move forward, but this first taste of it was jarring for me on the first read-through. But on the second read-through, I was expecting the dark, and I'm also kind of obsessed with Ginny now, so I enjoyed this one a lot more on this read-through. What books have you read that you were kind of meh on the first time, but actually really liked on the second time through?